Hi everybody, I'm Christine Josty of Mail Something Pretty, and I have fun things in store for you today. I'm a minute late because to make sure I wasn't bleeding. I just picked up my paper trimmer and I somehow picked it up with my thumb on the blade, and I had to make sure, but so far so good. Crazy stuff. All is good. Okay, so let me just make sure we are in fact live, and then we'll get to it. Here we go. Perfect. Alrighty. No, is that it? There we go. All right, good. So we have somebody on here. So say hello. Let me know you're on. Lots of comments, lots of hellos. It makes it a little bit easier for me to talk to a screen when I know live people are watching. I'm going to make, actually was inspired by, if you watched the World Card Making Day event, was that 2 weeks ago? Oh, that froze. Hopefully, let me know if I'm still frozen. I froze on my computer. Just make sure I'm not frozen. Okay, there we go. The World Card Making event. Oh, good. Hi, Debbie. Thanks for watching. They did, let's see, it was October 1st. And I think it's still open. I think it's open till October 18th. So if you did not watch the World Card Making Day, and it was like 3 hours or so, and they made lots of cards. They had a preview of new products. They showed from a designer standpoint how they come up with products. It's really interesting. Go to my blog and scroll down, and on one of my posts it will say World Card Making Day. If you click that button, that should be the right button to bring you right into it. You don't have to register or anything. Hello, Kathy. Thank you for joining. Great. Alrighty. So I'm not, I was just saying, when I right before I pressed play, I picked up my paper trimmer, which I need, and I somehow picked it up with the blade, went right into my, that's red ink, but I was making sure it wasn't bleeding because I'd have to get a Band-Aid, and then that's all problems. So I am good. All right, so I have lots of stuff to share. Some stuff from me and some special stuff I got in the mail that I'm going to share. Okay, so I'm going to flip the camera down. Oh, I just tightened it. Maybe not. There you go. And I'll flip this way. I'm telling you, I have plans to buy that software. I was just waiting for Black Friday for a sale. I should actually check because I know people are having their Black Friday sales already. All right, so oh, now I am bleeding. Darn it. I did that. Do I have a Band-Aid in here? Okay, let's see. What can I have a Kleenex. I will apply pressure because I don't want blood on my project. And I'm going to get into this later. I was having a very nice, oh, there you are. I was having a very nice chat with a wonderful woman, Nancy, yesterday. And she was saying how she loves how real I am. Look at, I just cut myself. Okay. Focusing. This is going to get silly, I have a feeling. All right. So anyways, on the World Card Making Day, one of the cards was a Wreath card. And so it was actually Shannon West. I'm just going to leave the camera on. Shannon West, who made this really nice card, and she used red paper, and she used I think this is called woodland embossing folder, and she turned it into look like planks of a door, and I loved it, and I posted it, and I think that card got the most comments out of all the cards from World Card Making Day that I posted. Yeah, thanks, Nancy. I actually had Band-Aids here on my table, and I can't find them, so sorry. It's just a little cut. Okay. So anyways, I'm going to duplicate as best I can that card, but I don't have the stamp set or dies. It's one of those Wreath dies, and I don't have Wreath dies anymore. So I'm going to show you what I came up with. First, I'm going to show you not my mistakes, but my learning curve. How's that? So this is the first card I did, and I'm going to show you from start to finish how to make the finished one. So we used the woodland embossing folder, and then we made the score lines, and I thought that was kind of clever to make planks, and she did it with red, so I did it with red because I was copying, but you could do it with wood door, like wood colored doors or whatever. So like I said, I didn't have that wreath, and it might be cottage wreath bundle. There's a couple wreath ones, but I don't have any of them, so I thought I would make my own wreath, and I use these leaves, and these are from the sunflower dies. Well, halfway through, I'm like, this is taking way too many leaves. And then you can see I have glue everywhere. So this is not a finished product, but I just wanted to show you that you can use different leaves to make a wreath. But I'm going to show you a better way to do it than that one. So this is my second take. Again, you see glue everywhere. This is not the finished product because the leaves were like, and I know wreaths are sometimes, you know, shaggy in one area, loose in another. So I could put a bow on here and it would actually look fine. I just have to get rid of my glue marks. But I came up with a sure-proof way to make it work. This is the one we're going to make. It's using the same leaves as this one, but look at how much more cleaner and prettier and round it looks. So this is what I'm going to show you how to make. And I'm going to make a couple other things too. And show you a few things too. So I decided for this one, I'm going to make it in cherry cobbler instead of red, just so you can see some of the variations. And I don't usually cut the paper. I'm going to cut it for you to watch. So how I do my papers, so this piece of paper makes usually 2 card bases. So what I do is I put it on 4 1/4 and I score it first. And I shift it and I cut it on 5 1/2. So that just gives me 2 card bases kind of at once. And then I just slip this back in my paper and save it for the next project. But I'm going to make 2 cherry cobbler cards, slightly different from each other. Hello, Cheryl. Thanks for joining. I have some fun stuff to show you. All right. So, looking for my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So like I said, we're going to use the woodland folder, and you may or may not realize this. There is a black line on the bottom of all, not the older embossing folders, but all the fairly recent and definitely all the newer ones. And there's a line there, and you can use that line to make sure your paper is straight. So I'm going to put my paper in this way because it's going to be a portrait card. And I'm going to line up the edge of my paper with that black line. Now for this embossing folder, it doesn't matter quite as much because it's just wood plank, but for some of them it does. So that's where that guideline is for. And then put it down. I treated myself. This is the only project I've used my new plates for. My other ones are pretty bad. All right, so this is a 3D embossing folder. Oh, Sally, you're here. Welcome. I played pickleball with Sally, and I played with her this morning, so I'm glad you're joining. So this is that machine I was talking about, Sally. All right, so for the 3D embossing folders, and I mark mine with a paint pen, so I know that they are. I don't have to forget. You use just the standard plate, use the embossing folder in your paper, and use the gray one, number 4, and I also write 3D on this. Now, did you guys notice, I've done this on a live before, but I folded my whole card base and I put it in here, so it's going to actually emboss all 4 sides of my paper. I could have done it this way and then run it through this way. I guess I could have done that, but I kind of like the look of it sometimes with all 4 sides. So you can choose what you do with yours. All right, so I've lined up, and I like my fold to go in because if it doesn't, and I'm speaking from experience, you can crack your embossing folders. These ones are pretty thick, so maybe not, but why take that chance? All right, and so then we're just going to crank it through. I'm actually going to do it with that other piece too. And so what you get, open it up. So you get a nicely green textured paper, and it actually goes through all 4 sides. Again, if you don't want it on 4 sides, that's okay. Just kind of put half the paper through. But I kind of like it. At least for this card, I like it. We're going to put a layer on the inside. So I'm just going to do this again to just make it quicker when we do our second card. And it does, it's a hard crank because you have all those extra layers of paper. All right, so there we go with that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put these two away because we're done with that. And I'm going to bring this back. So this is what we used, the two clear plates and then these two plates to cut. So I'm going to show you what I did. But I'm going to make a ring because this is key in making sure that that wreath is pretty and symmetrical. So these are from the Stylish Shapes dies that I use all the time. You guys can see me. It's the, I don't know, the second to largest. You can do it with the regular circle dies or if you had a square die. So I'm actually going to put two down at once. Can you see that? Nope, I can't. Do it up here. You could put washi tape or scotch tape down, but it really doesn't really move. So I have it pretty even. So then I'm just going to put my clear plate on top. You could also cut one circle at a time and then just run through twice, but it works fine doing it two at once. So then these pop out. So I have my ring that I'm going to use, and then I have this circle, and I'll use that later for a tag or something. All right, so now we're done with this. So I'm going to show you what I do to store my plates, because sometimes these can get a little warped. So you rotate them in different directions. But I also, when I store it, I store the plates on the bottom. So this machine does, for purposes, it's look how dirty it is. It folds up nice, but I just leave mine, I just store it this way. And so I put my plates, the two clear ones on the bottom, and I just roll this halfway through and I store it that way. And the pressure of the roller just keeps my plate straight. All right, so that we don't need. All right, so we have this. Some of the stuff I did cut because there's a lot of leaves. So I stamped and cut all my leaves. I think these are mistletoe. I think that's the type of leaf it is. And it is, oh, Shelly, you're joining us again. Hello, hello. Making a nice winter card. You probably won't have much of a snow winter, but, and I cut myself. Did that earlier today. Nice little slate. All right. So I got so here's the mistletoe leaf. And then it has the coordinating dies, just to show you where it came from. You can use leaves from anything. The dies right here. And actually it comes with two, which is really convenient for this because you need 13 leaves. This one was way too many. I used, and plus it's messy, the sunflower leaves. And there is a die that cuts two at once, but it's smaller, so you need more leaves. This one, which is messy, but it used, I wrote it down, 21 leaves versus this one uses 13. So it's a whole lot. You only have to cut through like 6.5 times because you get two of the dies. All right. I should have brought water up. I've been talking a lot. All right. So I'm going to just glue that down. There is a right side and a wrong side. You guys see the stitching is a little bit neater on that side. So I'm going to carefully, hopefully, I should be doing it on this. And if you have the adhesive sheets, you could use that too, but the glue works just fine. All right, I love these colors together. So this is Old Olive, and this base is Cherry Cobbler versus this one I did in Real Red. Excuse me. And the mistletoe is in Garden Green, both the ink and the paper. All right, so here's the key. So this is the difference between this one and this one. This one I haphazardly put leaves down because that's kind of what wreaths look like, but I did think it was a little messy. This one is nice and even and symmetrical and stuff. So I'm gonna start, I'm just gonna put a little dab of glue, not much, and just pick which direction you want. It doesn't matter if your stem's in this direction, I guess actually, look at it, does matter because of the curve of the leaf. So put your stem going in this direction. And I'm putting my stem kind of in the middle of that wreath, the ring. And so I'm going to do another little dab of glue. And so I'm going to, same thing, I'm going to layer, and I'm going to have that go kind of in the center of the wreath. And I'm going to keep doing that. Now if I went in this direction, you're going to have the stems all on top of each other. So you want to cover the stems. So the wreath goes in the center. I'll just do it quickly. So I'm going to do that all the way around. I have more leaves here than I need, just in case. Try not to get glue everywhere. That's why I'm using just a little dab. But this was the key, just to have that stem kind of in the center. And by only gluing the stem, there's some texture in here because some of them are raising up. And once the glue's dry, it will, you know, they'll kind of fluff up. You can fluff them up a little bit, but they'll stick. So the other thing I'm doing is I'm actually rotating my paper because that helps too. So I'm always looking kind of in the same direction. Almost there. I'm not counting, but the two I've done have used 13, so you could always cut 14 just to have one as an extra. Plus you're cutting two at once anyways. So this mimics the wreath, which I can't show you because I don't have it, of that cottage wreath, but it looks pretty similar. All right, so when you get to the end, so remember we only stuck down the stem, so this part lifts up. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put glue on the stem, and I'm going to tuck it under. So then you can't see, it's like seamless. You can't see where the wreath started and where it ended. All right. So then the inside, again, because it has that texture to it, I'm just going to put this on the inside. And it actually gives it a little bit of stability because the texture kind of, I don't want to say weakens the paper, but it did manipulate the paper, so it's a little softer. And then the greeting is from that candy cane set. And then I just stamped it's the same mistletoe there. And this is crumb cake, because the one I was copying, they used a crumb cake label. Theirs said Merry Christmas. I didn't have this, again, I didn't have the stamp set. So I had Happy Christmas from, I'll show you from the, it's Joyful something, the snowflake. Actually the set that I used in my second week of Christmas email today. And I like the expression Happy Christmas. So I'm going to use 3. Normally I would use 2, but because there's a little texture and it's concave here, that will give it a little stability going across. So Happy Christmas. And then we need a bow. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Nancy. Thank you. Thank you, Cheryl. Excellent. Okay, great. Woohoo. All right. So they used this ribbon in their sample. And again, it is on my blog. I guess it's just called Black and White. It must be called something else. Gingham ribbon. So I'm going to show you another trick. I think I may have showed it to you with the twine. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. But to get a bow that kind of sits a little bit better. So I'm just going to, have a little tail here on my right. I'm sure you can mimic it with your left hand. Do a bow. And normally we would take this and wrap it around and put through. But we're going to go in the opposite direction. We're going to go this way and loop it through. And as you kind of pull on the tail on both sides, it sits a little flatter. See how the bows, it's kind of flat instead of sometimes they get twisted. You could kind of play with it a little bit and then trim it as you want. So I think I'm going to put this bow down here, whereas this one I did on the side, just for little differences. I also always tie my bows while they're still connected to the spool. In case I made a mistake, it's not cut. So I could just do it again. Let's see if I can do it again now that I undid it. Yep. So it just takes a little practice. You just go in the opposite direction. All right, so I'm gonna trim. And I'm just going to use a glue dot to put that right down on the wreath. And tweezers. I use tweezers tons. It's just gives me like almost like an extra hand. All right. And then you could play with it a little bit. But anyways, you get the idea. It should probably be a little tighter. All right, I'll fuss with it later. I'll fuss with it later. I'm messing it up. But that's how I did the wreath, and that was a little trick on the bow. Oh, shoot! I forgot to do the darn it. Nancy, I did it again. I forgot to show you the lines. Well, now you'll see the lines of the difference. I think it looks nicer with the lines. I'm going to show you how to do it. Oh, darn it! All right, we'll do it for this next card. No worries. Okay, so you could do it, make the little plank lines with the trimmer, but I find it easier with the, yeah, you can see it, with the scoreboard. So the scoreboard it's like 12 by 12, and you can even see down here it has the stylus. It also has this little open window, and then inside you have these little pegs. And so the pegs are really handy, especially when you're making multiple cards, like I'm doing here. So I've already decided where I want my planks to be. And I'll show you how I did that. All right, so here's the second one. I can't believe I forgot to do that. And it looks so like it's missing something. No one will know because they've never seen my sample, but. All right, so what I did, so here's how the card's gonna open, right? Like that. And so I could have put here and scored lines, but I didn't know if they would go all the way through to the back, which I didn't want. I didn't mind the wood grain, but I didn't really want the planks. So what I thought of was, well, how about if the other thing is if let's see, do I have scrap paper? Oh, I do. All right. So if I made a line this way, it's like the valley, but it kind of, this is how Shannon did it anyways. I liked the bump, the mountain. So I was thinking if I did it here, I would have all these valleys, and if I turned it inside out, then it just, I don't know, I didn't think it would work. So what I came up with, so this is the front of my card. I'm going to, this is the front, open it up this way and flip it so that when I do the lines, they'll get the bump, which will be on the front. Hopefully that makes sense. And then what I did is I just kind of guessed where I wanted the planks to be. So the middle of the card's here. So I just guessed kind of the width of the planks. So let me show you. And I just ran it through twice. I found it doesn't matter. The stylus has a thin end and a thicker end. It really actually, the bumps were the same. It didn't matter. So sometimes I find the thinner one fits in the grooves better. And so because I have my pegs here, I don't have to think what my measurements are. I just go where they are. So this is really handy when you're making multiple cards that have multiple score lines. So there are the bumps, the planks. Thank you, Nancy. So that will be the difference. But this card's actually going to look totally different. But that's how I got the plank lines. And you can do lots of things with the scoreboard of all different score marks. It doesn't have to be just scoring your card in half. All right. Oh, let me show you this one too. So this one is the same card. It's just a 4x4. And I did the wreath in Old Olive instead of, this is Garden Green. And for some reason, I think because it's smaller, the wreath looks bigger to me. Maybe it's the color, but it's exactly the same size. So just a little perception. All right, I'll put them all out. I'll take pictures of everything too. So this is what I'm gonna make. So remember we used that green gold olive ring. So this one, I just made a shiny ring, same way. I used the, what is it called? It comes in a pack of 6x6 of gold and rose gold paper. It's really pretty. It's in the annual catalog. And so that's how I made the ring. And I used, instead of having the wreath go all the way around, I made more of like a swagger just on the side. So I used so this is the Forever Flourishing. So look at the dies you have, because you have to have leaves, because there's so many flower sets, there's lots of leaves. So this one happens to have 4 of these little ones, which was convenient because I didn't have to cut, as many. So I already have them cut. And I did those in Evening Evergreen. So I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna put my ring down. Yeah, I can't remember if it's called glimmer paper. I'll find it. It could be, but it's gold and rose gold. And I actually bought like 2 packs of it last year to use with my club, and I never used it. So now I have to use it because it's really, really pretty. All right, so same thing. I'm just gonna glue that down. Give it a second to dry. And I want to show you how I did that bow too, because I'm sure you can figure it. I just glued these things down, these little sprigs, but I definitely used my tweezers to hold them. Again, just a little dab of glue. And you could do, I meant to, and I just ran out of time. You could do on the ring with just a couple of these bigger ones too. You don't have to use the smaller ones. Just kind of a different look. Distress, that could be. I'm gonna look it up. Thanks, Cheryl. I forget what it's called, but I'll find it. And it's kind of like hidden because it's smaller paper. All right, so I'm gonna have those go in that direction, and then I'm gonna have, I think I used 7 of these. I think I brought up 8 just in case. So these ones are gonna go in this direction. I just want this edges kind of, we'll hide them with that bow. So these are cards, maybe wouldn't make like tons of them because it is a lot of cutting. Although you could certainly cut while watching a movie or something. Christmas cards, a lot of times I did them on the simpler side because you're usually making a lot. And certainly my 12 Weeks of Christmas series, those will be a little bit more, I always, like simple is sometimes a funny word. I do them on the simpler side or more for like the mass production rather than, let's see, we'll just do that one there. But some of these ones I can be a little bit more intricate and show you more steps. But certainly you could do a wreath could be a beautiful birthday card. It doesn't have to be like a Christmas card. All right, so that's my inside. So I have linen thread. I played with like doing a bow, which is pretty, but I just thought this just kind of tied it together a little bit more. And then I used these flat jingle bells. I think I used them on a project recently. So we're going to use that too. So what I'm going to do is cut a piece first. I'm just guessing. That's probably way too long, but that's okay. And I'm just going to pull it so it straightens out a little bit. And then I'm going to take this. I'm going to leave a little bit of a tail. And I'm going to wrap it around 3 fingers like 4 times. And I'm going to leave a little tail and cut. So before I take it off my fingers. So I have a tail up here and a tail down here, and I did 3 fingers. I tried to do 4, it was too thick. I'm going to take this off, pinch it together to find the middle. I'm going to take my extra piece and just tie a knot. Hopefully my fingers work for this. And it is slightly messy, so if it's not even, that's fine. I'm actually going to tie a double knot just in case. All right, so these are the two ends that I just tied with. So here's my bow, and you can kind of shift it back and forth, and then these were the two ends I left for those tails. What I'm going to do with the ones I was tying with, I'm going to take this, I'm just going to slip this on and tie a knot. I'll slip it on this one because it's a slither. There we go. And move that stuff out of the way. And I'm just going to tie a double knot. And then I'm going to trim those edges pretty close to the bell. So once I lay it flat, you'll see. All right, so I could have just snuck a glue dot in there, but I kind of liked how it was tied on. All right, so here's my bow. You can kind of see the bow sides and then the tails. So now I'm going to use a glue dot again. And stick it on the back of this. And one was enough. You can always do more, but one was enough. And then just put it to kind of cover as many of those like twig seams as possible. And then if that's too long, you can trim it depending on how long you want the tail. So that is how I did that one. And then I have the inside, same thing. Alrighty. So I'll put that in later. All right, so those were the two cards that I made I wanted to show you. Let me just look up that paper. So I don't forget, it's in the annual catalog. And I think it's on the same page as... Let's see. I should have found it before. Nope, that's not it. Here it is. Rose and Gold Metallic Specialty Paper. So that's where it is. So the 6x6, but just so you know where it is. Because it's really pretty. It's not super shiny, but it has just enough shine because it does have that distressed look to it. Oh, and this was another card I did. Same kind of thing with the ring, so you can see the ring, but I just cut out of the white, in the Christmas catalog has the red and white glimmer paper together in a pack, so I just used the white glimmer. So hopefully you can see this glitter. And then I just put some gems on the inside. So that's another version. All right. I will take pictures and post all these. Maybe I won't post my mistakes. I'll just post the pretty ones. But what I wanted to show you also with cards that I received, and I'm glad Nancy is on. So, actually, before I show you Nancy's card, I'm gonna post these because I had posted 3 other fall cards that people sent me, which was very happy because I love to receive mail. So this one I haven't posted yet, but Valerie made this one, and she kind of did it off the World Card Making Day event too, because they made wreaths by stamping, kind of how we made them with cutouts. You can also make a wreath with stamping. So that was her version. It was beautiful. So Nancy, who I've never met before, she lives far, far away from me, has become my friend through the internet in stamping. And she gave me a phone call yesterday, which was a pleasant surprise. And we had a lot of giggles. And she sent me a few cards. And one of the cards last week I posted was that angle card. I'm trying to show you with my hands. I have directions. I'm going to post them. But then she sent me some more cards, and I love them. I just opened them up. Nancy, you could be teaching everything that I'm doing. So isn't that fun? So I will be definitely copying this angle card because I've never made one of these before. And I know that she loves the paper. She told me, and I love this paper, and I just received 2 packs of it yesterday. So I'm excited to make it. So that's sweet. And then I was so happy. I was telling her that because I talked to her, I wasn't going to open the cards till today. So I opened them today. This is a really cool like triangle or angle easel card. Isn't that adorable? And she sent me directions. This one I happen to know how to make, but she sent me directions. So I will post that for you as well. Isn't that sweet? So I never would have even met, you know, I say in quotes, Nancy, had it not been that I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And so this third card I have to show you because it is so sweet. So first, let me show you this. So it's a really nice, it's, you know, a half open and then just a panel. So it's like that. So it's really sweet. And with the same paper as this one called Harvest something or other. Nancy, is this an aspen leaf? I'm guessing it's an aspen leaf, which I love it. She sent me a leaf, a pressed leaf in the mail. And I had actually pressed some flowers that I'm going to send to someone who's very sick in Florida. And so that's sweet that you did that for me. But this is what I wanted to show you. She wrote me this sweet little note. And I'm going to read it. And I hope I'm not embarrassing you. I noticed on your last live, your Stays On ink pad protective cover. And so here's what I do, because I kept having it everywhere and I'm going to, you know, I'm messy. I stick 3 of these, and she sent them to me. They're like dimensionals, adhesive packs on the back of the lid. So I'm going to do this live. So you guys can do it with your pads too. And actually, I have 2 of the pads, so I'm going to put that on my other one. So 3 of these pads on the back of the lid, close it, and the cover, that clear cover, will stick so it keeps me from getting ink on my fingers. Look at that! Okay, I've been doing this for 17 years. Thank you. So, we share. Stamping is all about sharing. Oh, great. It is. I thought it was an aspen leaf. My brother lived in Colorado for a while, and I just loved how they just shimmer. That's very, I'm going to put that in a special spot. So Stampin' Up! Is all about sharing and teaching each other. Like I said, I've been doing this for 17 years, and I'm still learning things. By no means I'm an expert. I love to learn, and then I love to teach what I learn or share what I learn through mistakes and all that kind of stuff. So I'm bringing this up, one, because I wanted to share these sweet cards with you, but also because there's a promotion going on for Stampin' Up! To join Stampin' Up! It's an incredible product promotion. So for the month of October, if anyone joins or buys the starter kit or joining kit, it's normally $99. It will stay $99, but instead of choosing $125 worth of products, which is a sale in of itself, a regular starter kit is a sale any day. For October, you choose $155 worth of products, still for that $99. And you get free shipping, you get a complimentary paper pumpkin kit, you get catalogs to share, and you get access to a whole bunch of things on the Stampin' Up! Website, their emails, their Facebook pages and stuff. I wrote about this in my email yesterday. So I invite everybody to join for the products, which is great, but more for like the community and the sharing. And again, if you want to make this a business, which I am starting to have, you can do it that way too. And I'm happy to share everything that I know. Hi, Ginger. Nice to have you. So I just wanted to let you know that promotion is going on, kind of in the spirit of sharing, and what Nancy sent me some sweet cards and sweet advice. So that's going on. All right, let me go through these comments. All right. Oh, Nancy, they love your idea. I'll post that too. I'll post a picture of it too. Because you know me with inky fingers. I have ink on my thumb. So Becky says she does that the same with hers. It keeps the plastic insert from getting lost. Yeah. You've seen me lose it on live. And helps, yep. Yes, Nancy said helps keep the ink off of her instead of the project. So definitely. All right, so I'm going to move these aside just for the people who joined late. I'm going to show you what I made so you can watch the replay. And you can watch my mistakes in the replay. How's that? Because I forgot to make lines in this card. I think, yeah, you can see them all. And this one is the same as this one. And I showed at the beginning kind of my starting point, which are I'm not going to use, but it kind of, so this morphed to this, and it's so much prettier. So these are the cards that I made on the live today, or this one I just showed. Okay, so this was a little longer one, so thanks for sticking with me this whole time. Thank you. I'm glad you like them. I'll post pictures. I'll post the link for the replay for anyone who came late, or you can just, I think if once it stops, I think you can watch the replay right away. Consider joining Stampin' Up! I have a fun team of stampers, no matter kind of what your skill level and or your intention is. There's lots of reasons why to join, and so and every reason's a good reason. Alrighty, I think that is all I had for you. And I've been talking so much, I'm going to go have something to drink because my voice is parched. All right, thank you very much. I think you like the project, so go ahead and make some wreaths, even if you don't have the wreath die. But if you have the wreath die, that's much easier. Just go ahead and use it because that's much easier. All right, I'm going to sign off and have a wonderful week, and I will see you guys next week. And who knows what we'll come up with to make, but we'll be good. All right. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Thanks, everybody. You guys were great, and I loved how you had commenting because it helps me. It helps me stay focused. Okay, have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.